Hello, how are you doing? I hope this works, because if not, I'm just gonna go crazy and I did my best, man. I'm trying to make it work. Better? Okay, that worked. Okay, my gosh. You'd think I was in, not an, hey, hello. So welcome back. I am so sorry for that technical, I don't even know what to call that, because for week after week, I just sit down, I call up OBS, and I start doing my thing, and it works. And then, boom, all of a sudden, it's gone. Boy, that's a lot of low end. Holy cow. You found my way back. Exactly. So thank you for your patience. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. Man, that is so much low end. I think I need to turn these guys down just a little bit. That's crazy. This is from a free library, by the way, that we made. This is the haunted organ, which is exactly what was happening here earlier, right? And now I will sing for you. Yeah, so there you go. Rusty piano. So this is part of the LiveSCREAM library, which is, let's go to the website really quick so I can show you what's going on. And pluginguru.com is where we go for all our sound needs. Let's go over here. I'm going to turn this off. Part of the issue, I worked very, very late last night. I went to bed at 5 to get everything done so I was ready for today. And for some reason, whenever you do that just kind of like opens the door for something to go wrong. Maybe it was better. Yeah, I'm not singing anymore. If I do sing, I'll use Evoke and I get the. But if you go over here to, by the way, I should also point out that on the current deals and free stuff, there are some free deals and current good deals as well. So the LiveSCREAM, and I got this weird thing where it's showing 3 download now. It's not supposed to do that, but my website, it's possessed as well. But I have a whole bunch of libraries at 50% off, both for Unify and for Omnisphere 2, because Omnisphere 3 is out. All of the libraries for Omnisphere 2 work inside of Omnisphere 3. Make sure you come up here and get this LiveSCREAM library. It's really, really fun. There's actually 3 different years for 3 years, 2020, 2021, while we were in COVID time, we did, and then 2024 we also did. And there's all sorts of screams and drum kits. There's Kendall Cochran. He did a bunch of samples. He works in a mine. You guys should hear the audio I'm hearing, because I think I have to use loopback. Let me go over here. If I turn off loopback, let me see if the audio to you guys goes away or not. So if I turn this off, this device loopback is currently being used by OBS. Okay, so I can't turn it off. But if I go over here, I'm just checking my settings. I need to learn how this works better, because that was Yeah, that makes the audio go away. Okay, so I know where everything's at. I said it's like 95%, just to protect everybody's ears just a little bit. Okay, so Uniscream is a really fun library. I had an image, if you notice, when we went to the standard library. I started with a patch from this library, and then I went to Uniscream to add something because I made a custom image and I put it into Unify 2, and I was going to show you how to do that. So because a lot of you have asked, how can I get my images into Unify 2? Because we work with images in some cool ways. And so I created this in our wonderful Mid-Journey as just a background for the banner that you see for this live stream event. And then I made it black and white, stuff like that. Let me show you. If you go to Unify and you go into Libraries and you go to the Unify Standard Library, right? You can get here quickly if you want by hitting, go to Settings, Paths, Data, Main Data Folder, hit Open. And that will open up this same folder. So then you can go Libraries, go Unify Standard Library, because that's what we're working in. Go to Media, and I did something kind of secret. I put in 2 images of Unify's logo as well as Spooky. Here's Spooky. Let's make this smaller because that's a little bit big. But here's Spooky, but I also put in the logo of Unify 2 and a smaller one with a lit background. My daughter made this logo, by the way, which is something I'm very happy and that's kind of cool about. And so I want to use this as the background for my patch changing and stuff like that inside of Unify. There's a file right here that says links.txt, and I have it set off, I believe, inside of the standard library. What you need to do is this. So inside of the media folder, there is a folder that says images, or you have to make a folder if it's your own library. Inside of your own, you make media, then you make a folder inside of media that says images, and you put an image in JPEG or PNG format into here. And I want to use this image right here. So I select the whole thing, including the .jpg, copy the name. Then I go here to the links file, and it says default, some spaces. It doesn't matter how many spaces. You have to have things in quotations. Then you have to say images / because it's inside the images folder. You can actually use a different folder name if you want. Just you have to put that in right here. And then for the name of the file, you put that right here. So I'm going to select this and say paste that name with a quote at the end. So we have quotation marks around that. Save. And by doing that, now when I go back to Unify and I call up patches, it will call up that image in the background of Unify. And then you go over here and you hit your little lock it so that way it stays locked if you want. And then you can control the brightness of the background if I want to be a little bit brighter, so forth. But you can get your own images, image, I should say, into Unify 2 that way. You go to, let's do it one more time so we do the steps. So you have, here's your library, right? Where you have the patches. That folder is there automatically because Unify makes it, even if you make a new library. You make a folder at that same level that says media if there's not one. Then inside of the media folder, ignore all these other files. These are for little thumbnail things. You need to have a folder that says images, and then a file that you create and you name it links.txt. And that file inside of it needs to have just a simple line in quotes of default, some spaces, and then in quotations, let me make it a little bit bigger so you can see it. See? You do this, and then this image file name right here would be whatever image you want to put in the background of Unify 2's interface for it to display. I think we're working to make it so that you can do this. Right now, if I was to lock an image, let's say if it's going to go to like Mega Magic Guitars Volume 5, we have these really, really cool images in here, right? So if I unlock this and I choose a patch from here, hopefully, I think Paul has fixed this so that you can lock this because it's in the library folder there. And now when I go back to Unify standard library, it will stay locked. Right now it won't. When I change to a new patch, it's going to change back to just Unify's internal images. But I've talked to him about that, and I think he's going to fix that to work so that we can do that. High res image. Yeah, if you use a super high resolution image, I suggest like a HD image, like 1920 by 1080, or else a 4:5 aspect ratio. That way, you know, it's not too huge. If you save it in JPEG, a friend of mine that does art, he says, yeah, you save at a JPEG of 82%. And that way it doesn't go to the highest 100% and make it a really large file. But at 82%, you can, that's high enough you can't tell any difference. And he prints all huge images and stuff like that all the time. So again, the steps: go to settings, go to paths and data, go to the content, or right here, the main data folder, and you hit open. And this takes you to the data folder that Unify is looking to for its content. Then you go into the libraries folder. I'm going to the standard library because that's where this is at. I also did this to the super mega library, but we won't talk about that. Go make a, right here's our media folder. So you open this up, and then you go to images, and in here's where you're going to put the image that you want to use. And then you open this up, copy the name. Let's say I want to change to the image without the big full-size image. So I'd select the whole name, copy that. Then I go back and I go to links.txt, and I paste that whole name right here after the name of the folder that it's in. So it's images/unify2bgdefault.jpg. Save, close this, close this, close this. Go back, and now when I choose a patch, turn off the safety pin, and then it will work. So now I've got the whole background of the logo of Unify 2. So that's how you work. And it will zoom it to fit the edges so that, as you see, even if I change it and do this stuff, Paul did it brilliantly so that it will keep track and it will scale to fit. So let's see, let's get this to the right size so we can continue on with everything else. But that's how you can get your own images into the background of the interface of Unify. So you can make it whatever you want. And then if I wanted to, I could, to make it really subtle, I could go over here to the colors, make a nice black or something like that, and then just bring down the opacity just a little bit. So it's just barely there, Cool. And then lock it. And now it works. And so, it didn't, why didn't it look? There, lock. I think I have some patches. That's weird. It should stay locked, but it's so weird what I hear in my ears, man. I mean, I hope it's not echoing for you because it's echoing for me, but I don't care what I hear. It's what you guys hear that's important. It's so weird. Okay, I'll have to solve all the audio issues. I'm so sorry for this happening. It shouldn't have happened. Okay, so there's a lot to show you guys today. A lot of cool things have happened. I'm going to save the second half of the live stream for showing some tips and tricks, suggestions, answering some questions you might have with Unify 2 since it's new and just out. Let me point out real quickly, it is still on its introductory offer of upgrading for a very great price and buying it new for a great price until next Sunday. We got 1 week. And then after that, it will be at its retail price. It won't be discounted any this year for sure. Maybe at a sale or two next year, but it's not going to be one of these things. I do sales at the libraries quite often to just keep spurring everybody on to get new sounds. But our plugins and software, especially because Paul's involved, and I know how hard the dude has worked to create this, it's not something we're going to discount because it's a crazy thing. So the volumes will just make it use for all the patches. Yeah, we'll fix that. Okay, good, good. All right, so to start with, there's some new plugins that have come out this week. It's been a very busy week. To start, let's do this. I want to show you a library that I have unified that is very interesting and very different for them. This is from, let's make sure it's here. This is from GForce Software. It's called MAP. Let's do this. Let's go init and hold down Option and hit the init button so I can have these guys go away because we're not using any MIDI effects. Let me open this up, make sure that we don't have any added effects on this. I could just completely init, I guess, but I want to keep my master. I don't even have a good setting for my master effects. Let's go over here, replace layer from the master presets, the light, so I get everything nice. So go map. This is a very interesting synthesizer. It's using a West Coast form of synthesis for the oscillators. There's, I believe they said 3 oscillators and noise. It has a really cool filter in that it's multiple breakpoints on an EQ graph to make the sound. And it has a very unique sound to it for sure. Isn't that cool? It has a pigment style kind of an editor for your modulation sendings. You can click here to see what it's sending to on an overview kind of a view to look at it. It has this really interesting color / noise section, which has dust, has crisp, all these different settings and a mix. So you can take it down. It has delay and then it has space. So it has an arpeggiator that can be a standard arpeggiator, or it can be a generated arpeggiator where it's generating notes in a cool way. It's got a lot of cool things going on. This is where the 2 filters come in handy. And you can see you can change the routing here. And then I had some fun. At 4 in the morning last night, I did some knob assignments that are interesting because I set up the knobs. Let's do this. Let's call up a patch. Like, let's go to like something like this. And let's open this up. And you have this unique shape for the filter for the different patches, right? So if you look at the assignments, if we right click and you go here and you look at the assignments on this instrument, go down here to map, they have the ability to filter the frequencies 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of that EQ group plot, and the gain and even the Q can all be separate. And so it's a very unique filter, and I use that in a way to get, so you could bring up, oh, I'm gonna have to have, how can I show this and that? Maybe I can't. I'll have to share the screen. So let's see, let's shrink Unify's interface so we can show the knobs. And let me make sure OBS is letting me see everything. So let's go right down to here. So this filter A volume, see how it's bringing up and down all of the points? And then I have the sweep. It's going to make all 5 points immediately jump to the same point. So it's a really interesting sounding filter layout. So as we're going through the patches, here, let's go to some more patches. Let's go to like maybe a BPM. Notice one thing that we do with all of our unified libraries that makes them special is they are organized by type. You know, when you look at the list of patches here, it doesn't tell you what type they are, and that it's always driven me crazy, and everybody does it that way, I know, because that way it looks better in the interface. Who cares? I want ease of use. I want everything organized together so when I'm looking for something, I know where to look for what I'm looking for. It makes such a huge difference. So let's go over here and find. There we go. Here's something interesting. But the thing about this is just listen to the sounds. It's a very different sound. So I mean, you can get some crazy frequencies because of how it's doing. It has, if we zoom up on this so you can see for a second, like this, we can make it even bigger probably, but each oscillator has FM and AM to play with. So with these types of controls, you can get into some really interesting new territory, which is why I think they probably called it MAP. And thanks to Shane and his wonderful Python scripts, we were able to unify this fairly quickly. And I have added the macro knobs. I added one auxiliary effect, and you can control the envelopes. I also did a whole layer of effects, so you can turn on and off the noise, and then control the mix of the noise. You can turn on and off the delay and the mix, whatever it is, and then you can turn on and off the reverb and change the mix and the size, which can get really interesting. So that's playing with parameters inside of MAP just by changing them, you know. So anyway, so if you want to play with this library, if you own this library, it's available. I haven't put a link in the video description yet, so let me go over here and go GForce Software. Here's a link on their website so you can see what it looks like. We want to go to MAP, navigate the unknown. They have it for £49. That is the link to get to MAP. It'd be cool if you actually had like a physical hardware thing of some of these things to play with. We actually could pick it up and play with it. But it talks about, you know, the background where it came from. This is my mom's. Isn't that funny? It's a treble clef with a whole bunch of gems on it and stuff like that. So it worked good when I was wearing my whole outfit, which I had to take off when the audio stopped working. So, oh, how embarrassing. Oh, well. I've been doing this for a lot of years, and you guys are sticking around, so here's Let It Cook. We'll let that play for a second. Here is the link for the Unified Library. So it's nice. It's a really cool synth. Very different. I give them huge kudos for not trying to make something that's already been done before. Make something that goes into new sonic territory. do like that's interesting. Also pointing out the LFOs, they say they're drawable. Maybe there is I didn't see a free running pin. You can double click, you can design your own shapes. They're shapeable for sure. And you can set them to be synced. And if you have a larger interface, it's a little bit easier to work with. But they say they're design drawable. That's what I read, if I recall. And I don't see where you can draw. Here's between whether it's full range or just a mono polarity versus bipolar. But I don't see, let's see, if you go to the shapes, yeah, they're all curvatures and different things like that, which is cool. So you have presets to work with. But it's nice that it's not just LFO, triangle, and so forth. So it has a lot of really creative ideas in it. Here's, as I play with this knob and the evolve is set to max, it should there's regular ARP and generative ARP. You have scale choices to set it if you wanted to limit to the scale and the chord types and so forth. So you have, it's got a lot of stuff going on. Really nice. So kudos to GForce Software for making something for your next really cool project that gives you a different signature than everything else. So it's very cool. Yeah, it's drawable by the curve handles for changing the curvature, but it's not the same thing as free-form drawing per se, you know? So, I know. But here's your envelopes as well up here, and you have 3 envelopes, 3 LFOs. Very cool, okay? So, that's MAP. I gave you the link for the... And also notice that inside of Unify 2, I have the menu up here so that if I was to come up to a patch that... Maybe I like this... And that was like going to be like something I'm going to use a lot for this film project and then modify it. I could save this as a template preset. Go save, and this is Monster A theme. So that I know that I could go to this and I could call up Monster A theme right from the get-go and work with that. So the template saving inside of Unify 2 is really handy for all plugins, not just the built-in ones, okay? All right, so there's that. Korg has been busy, and I've been aware of this for a little while, and I'm really excited to get to show you what they have been working on for their new Korg Collection Volume 6. Let's do this. Let's go to the website really quick. So here we go. Korg Shop. They now have brought over the Trinity, which is a synthesizer I was honored to get to work on at a, let's see, this is 1995. So I was like a 29, 30-year-old kid getting to work on this. Actually, let's see, 94. Yeah, 30 years old. So, and it's part of their whole collection. They now have 20 plugins, the Continental, the 2600. Here's the 3 new ones, the Trinity, the PS330, PS3300, the SGX2, which is the grand piano engine outside of Oasis and Kronos. I'll show you those guys in a second, but look at all this. All of these, the electric piano is wonderful. I love their electric pianos. The Micro Korg, Chaos Pad, LiveSCREAM is incredibly cool. The Triton they did before, the Triton Extreme, M1, Wave Station, ARP Odyssey, Korg Prophecy is super cool. The Mini Korg is one of my favorites. It's so cool. All of these, if you add them up, it's a lot of money. If you go here to their bundled product, you can get the whole bundle for $299 for all 20 plugins. That's just a crazy, crazy, crazy opportunity. So let me show you the new 3 synthesizers that come within the bundle. First, let's go to Trinity. Trinity. I was living in Los Angeles at the time. Actually, I wasn't even married then. I hadn't gotten married yet. Wow. Yeah, so let's see. Let's have the Unify's interface go away for a minute. It's going to take me back to NAMM shows for years and years where I would demonstrate this as I worked for Korg as a product specialist as well as a voicing person. But all the patches are here. Here's one of my patches. And if you want to know Skippy patches, back in the day, I used to make patches, especially for the program mode, where I would put like little signs into the patch names instead of just being just the name by itself. Like, you know, Mega Mix Kit had to have all these weird characters and stuff like that. Bell Arena, Snoop Doggy Bass. I did all the dancey stuff back in the day because I was the one that listened to dance and hip hop, and everybody else was listening to, like, you know, progressive rock and stuff like that. But everything here, it's the T series. It's a Trinity. So the O and W, the total kit, all the sounds that we've loved forever and ever and ever. It's a Trinity. It sounds like it. It's got that same really beautiful open. That airy quality that the Trinity had that was so different because, let's see, if I recall, if we go over here to editing, let's see, we got to have the browser go away. And this was a filter. This was the first, for years with the, I don't know, did the Triton also? I think the Trinity came before the Triton. This came after the O1W. And when we were in meetings in Japan, actually probably after the M1, we were saying we need a resonant filter because the M1, if you recall, didn't have a resonant filter. And when the O1W came out, they didn't have a resonant filter. And oh, we're so sorry, we couldn't accomplish it. Please wait for the next generation. And the engineers worked for the next year and a half, whatever it took. And I think the Trinity was our first synth that had a resonant filter back in the day. And so it was a great thing. We did a lot of stuff with patches that had resonance and so forth on it. I did a lot of sweepy sounds and stuff like that. So if we go here to pads, let's see, synth, long. Anyway, it's a Trinity. So you have, this is one of the 3 synths that comes with this new updated to the Korg Collection and sounds just like a Trinity. It's really cool. The next one up, let's show the SGX and then we'll save the Grand Poopah for the last one. So if we go here, we say SGX2. This is the grand piano engine from the Korg Trinity actually from the Korg Oasis Kronos. I'm going to put this over here again so that you just see this by itself. I think I can make the interface bigger, but we'll just leave it like that. And now, it's multiple velocities. And that last velocity sounds like they were hitting it with like rubber hammers. It's not pretty. One of the cool things within Unify 2 is that every layer has a velocity curve input right here. So I can take the maximum velocity and bring it down so it can't hit those samples. Right there's the highest. There. Now it won't hit it. Still hits it there. and then give it a little bit more of an exponential curve like this so that there's a little bit more attention to the softer velocities. So you can use this velocity curve, set it something like this. It's really, really nice. I'm not a fan of that really, really high velocity, this whole, it's like, no, please don't do that to my ears. So now, if you go to the list here, right here, there are quite a few different pianos. The Italian doesn't have that, and let's go to this, there, it's better. I put the velocity range back to max, so just that German, and I think the Japanese also, they got it. That ticky ticky tack, it's like a tack piano. Now, if you're in a rock band and you need to cut through with the guitars and stuff, that's cool. But the Italian doesn't have that, which is nice. They also have dark variations, which is different mappings. And I believe if you get to the upright, they also have felt. I thought I had felt, but maybe it doesn't. Does it have felt? Nope. Okay, never mind. Now there are patches, and I made some patches at the end. They sent it to me, and it had just basic pianos. I was like, oh, it's nice. It's kind of boring. I wish it had some more interesting patches. So I had made some patches, sent to Japan down here. Things like this shimmer with the effects. There's an infinite piano. Let's see, in effects. Where's infinite? Here's like piano infinite. Right? And so they actually made this into an effect preset. So you can actually call up one of the regular pianos. Again, you can't get rid. I said, can you guys put some sort of a velocity limiting inside of this? Because, and they didn't have time to do that. If you go to the reverb, you can go here to the preset list, and infinite is infinite space. So you can call that up on any patch to. Which is really nice. So that's the pianos. 3 different types of pianos, different mappings to work with, as well as an upright. So there's actually 4 pianos in there, which is really cool. Okay, now let's go to the last synth in the collection. Where's Unify 2? Oh, you went up here. Come back down here, please. And the last thing is the PS3300. PS3300. There's also one from Cherry Audio we can compare in a minute if you want. This is a really interesting synth. They work really hard to emulate all the quirks and uniqueness of the original. As you see, you have the 3 panels for the 3 different sound sources. That's a culprit patch, I guess. So there's a couple patches I wanted to show you that are just really cool. Let me see if I can find. Oh, let me see. It's one of those things when you're playing super late at night, and let me just play through some patches so you can hear it. But it has this quality to it and character that's just beautiful. And here's your envelope, so we can make the decay times longer if we want. So let's bring these all to be longer. It's modular, as you can see, so as you go through the patches, some of them call up. But it just has this really cool living quality to the sounds. And it has a richness that's very cool as I play Magic. Let's say brass. Listen, that's beautiful. So, this is one that will take a little while to study because it's a lot of parameters that are not your traditional ones. The modulator generators here, generator 2. Now let's do this. Let's pull this to the side. And because Unify 2 is a host, the host with the most, we can say, give me a new layer. And, oh, I was going to show you a cool trick that we have that I didn't know about that Paul snuck in. And that's right here to call up presets. So let's say I want to call up the PS330-300. And I like this. I want to save this as the patch that it's going to call up. Let's just do it as just default like this. So let's delete the name. Oh, well, it's going to give a weird name. So let's just say PS330-300 and let's say Korg. It's 3300 Korg. Okay. Check this out. If you go to the save as a layer preset, I showed this in the video I released yesterday. You can save this. And if you save it not inside of one of the folders in the instrument layers preset list, what happens is Paul set it up so that by doing that, it now shows up at the top of the list separated from the layer preset settings that call up from, that you make a folder of. So I could quickly call up Serum. I could go over here. Now let's go over here and say PS3300 and I could call up Cherry Audio. If I wanted this also to be able to quickly call up, I could find the patch. Okay, so if I want that, I could just go over here and I could go save layer as preset, PS3300, and say Cherry Audio. And because I'm not putting it into a folder, it puts it into a unique area so that I just have to go like this to call up between the Korg. Let's see. And the Cherry Audio. Call up the interface for Cherry, and here she is. This seems to be brighter in your face. But this just has this. It's just in a whole different sound space for what it does. The special effects are really interesting. Oh, turn off brass, we just have special effects. But you hear the sound of it, right? It's just... It's just a different instrument. Let's see if we go over here and see if there's any sound effects. It can do, but the sound is just different. So you have to choose which one, or you don't. You can have both. That's what's fun. Use them both together because they each, even though this says this is 3300, the sounds that they are evoking and creating are so different from each other. Let's see what else we have here. Let's go to like soundscapes and turn off brass, which is here. I mean, that low end is just crazy. Really cool. So they have been very busy to bring out 3 plugins of this quality in this update. So this means the list, if you look at, check this out, if we go over here to, here, let's do a tip on how to make a set list, because I want to have all the Korg synths. You know how you can go plus? When you go to instrument, you can load things up this way, but there's another way to do it. You can make a set list. And so let's do this. Let's go to the settings, subsets. We call it subset, I guess, right? Here it is by company. Korg hasn't been updated. And actually, that's actually not even there anymore. So let's remove that. So let's go up here and say Korg. And it lists all the Korgs. So we could say select all and then go through the list and make sure, here's Arturia. We don't want Arturia in there. So you hold down the command key on Mac. I'm not exactly sure, but make sure that you just have the Korg ones, add selected. So now it's added those, and then I can go save. So this way, when I go to, let's init the patch, and I'm going to go to the plugins to load it as the plugin list. Right here, I can go by company to Korg, and here's all the plugins. Now, ModWave, Op6, Multi-Poly are not included in the bundle for this. This is just their legacy products that they've been converting over. WaveState Native isn't there, but the WaveStation is, so you can... Right? So it's there to play with as that goes. So that's how you create a sublet. So that when you, instead of using the plus right here, you go where you would normally load the plugins, and here's where subsets can live. And so you can use this for audio effects. So you go over here and I can go to like effect type. I can go to reverb. Now that's not all my reverbs. I haven't updated it since I now have scanned everything in. If I go over here, subsets, over here you can change between instruments, audio effects, MIDI effects. If you go to audio effects and you select the preset, let's go by effect type, reverb. It will show me the list of what I have for reverb. And then I can come over here, I can say verb. RB, and here's all these different reverbs, right? Just from Verb. And that's not all the reverbs available because some of them have even more weird names. So I can add all those add selected. So now my reverb list just got rather healthy. So now when I go out of here and I'm looking at what I want to load, I can go down here to effect type, reverb, and see just my reverb presets to choose from, which is really nice for making sure you can see all the, when we get, on this computer right now, if I go to the plugin list, I have 2,040 plugins inside of this version of Unify working. So it gets tricky to navigate and manage. I also want to point out while we're here, MIDI effects is really important that you set this up with the MIDI effects you own. It just shocks me. I've been saying this for 5 years since the M1 or since Unify version 1 came out. They still don't have specific categorization in plugins for MIDI effects. So, this is separated into audio effects versus instruments because they're categorized as instruments or audio effects. They have never made it a clear distinction for MIDI effects so that we could pick up and include them in this list. When you go to all MIDI effects, you'll notice it doesn't show you many MIDI effects because there's no categorization for them. So you have to go to subsets, you have to go to MIDI effects, and go to some third-party plugins, and then find your MIDI effects. I know I have scalar, right? That's one. So I want to add scalar, and you can add it as an effect or an instrument, because these companies, they have to describe and provide them as both, because I just want to add that. I have Cthulhu in here. I want to use Harmony Bloom. Harmony Bloom, H-A-R-M-O-N, Bloom. So there we go, add selected. You need to add your MIDI effects manually, which is just, it's crazy. I don't understand why they haven't improved that at this point. After so many years, I've complained about it for a long time. By doing that, now when I go to some 30 plugins, I can go to Harmony Bloom, load that up, and now it's playing. Because I had to tell Unify what I have for MIDI effects, because there is no way for Unify to be able to tell by default what your MIDI effects are. So we don't have a lot of patch management within the UI. Yeah, as far as patch management, there is a little bit in that you can tag things, and then those tags will show up. Like if you go, one thing I added last night, if you go to Metronome and you type U2, it will show you patches that have added to the end of the see the tag say U2. These are 12 new grooves that I added at the wee hours. There's church funk, which is cool. Chat disconnected. I was disconnected. What the heck? This is just having, what can I do? Okay, so I'm still streaming. Okay, I was disconnected. It popped up saying you're disconnected. So how do you turn on Aftertouch in Unify? That is something you do at the plugin level. Am I back? I don't see myself. Let's see. Okay, let's see if I go up here. Let me load the page. This is crazy. November 1st, we're just having stream is still good. Okay, good. Because it said on my screen for YouTube, you're offline. I was like, what? No. So Aftertouch is something that is set up at the plugin level. For example, Guru Sampler doesn't have Aftertouch because I'm not a fan of Aftertouch. Paul has convinced me that Aftertouch is usable because of what we've done with Guru Sampler 2. So let's do this. Let's init and let's call up Guru Sampler 2. So you go to the list, go to Guru Sampler 2, and let's make this bigger so you can see everything that we have going on here, right? Here, let me have the knobs go away so that we have this a little bit different. I'm going to use this to get to the front. Okay, so I'm going to bring down the filter. Let's give it a slow attack, slow release. And I want to have a little bit of filter fun. So we're going to have this go like a slow attack. And let's do this to a unison patch so it's a little more pretty. Now, if I want to add Aftertouch, you can, let's see, I got it. You'd right click on the filter cutoff, let's say, and here's Aftertouch. So I can bring this up. So now, one other parameter that we added that is just super cool. You know how Spectrasonic said they did some optimizations to their Aftertouch? They basically have a lag. I don't know if you have a parameter in Omnisphere to control it. You do here, so that you can bring up the lag, and this will slow down the response of the information coming in. So it's no longer doing after switch. The reason I didn't like Aftertouch is this whole, it just goes away so quickly. I hate that. It's just, you're playing, and I play fairly strongly, and so it'd be easy on a lot of keyboards to make it sound bad. So this control, Aftertouch lag, you can control and set your Aftertouch works exactly how you want it to work and responds nice and more naturally instead of just lurching around and so forth, right? Again, Aftertouch is something you do in your keyboard. So in the plugin that you're using. So if I was to have, let's go to the plus, let's add Serum to this, and say I wanted to play. So let's turn on the filter. And I want to have the release be nice and long. You would right click and say modulation source Aftertouch, and then bring up that. Let me see, how can I want to get to my intensity setting. So we got to probably go over here to the matrix, Aftertouch. Okay, Serum, you're not making me look good here. So that's the filter frequency, but what do I do? Edit custom curve. I can't, my mouse won't get into the parameter that I normally. Oh, you know what Aftertouch is? Anyway, you have to know how to use Aftertouch on your synth. I haven't set it up in Serum 2, so I'm not sure why it's not. I set it to Aftertouch, so it should give me access to do this. I go to the matrix. I've got it all the way up. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know why it's not working. It should be working, but maybe it's polyphonic Aftertouch versus Aftertouch. I don't know. Maybe that's a separated thing. Let's see. Go right here. Modulation source. No. I don't know. Anyway, you have to have patches that have Aftertouch set up to listen to it. There you go. And that's stuff on the forums. Have a load XCT. Okay, looks like you guys are having some good chats over there. Some other things I wanted to cover. Are there any specific questions? Let me look at the list here for a second. Yes, you can get all that from a basic waveform. If you want to get even more fun, let's play with GUI Sampler a little bit more. So let's make sure that we have this set on and the volume is 0. Like I play from this keyboard that doesn't have Aftertouch, it just sits there. So when I'm programming, what I do a lot of times is whatever I have the Aftertouch to, I also set the modulation wheel to so that I can. And also notice we have a lag up here for the modulation wheel as well. And if you really want to hear that, we also have lag for the pitch bend, which is super cool. So you can set the pitch bend to be 24 semitones up and 24 semitones down for pitch bend. And you know, Let's see. Let's make it brighter. See how it's really fast. Bring up the lag. Now it's nice and slow. Which is really cool if you were to layer this with another variation of itself. Let's say let's duplicate this layer. Oh wait, I hit the wrong button. Duplicate the layer. And let's do one more thing. When we're using pitch bend, let's also have the volume get softer. So we go over here to the volume, right click here, and when we have pitch bend, we'll say when we go down, it's going to get softer. And I can control how soft it gets. That's too soft. So we can have this one doing the pitch bend, and then you have this soft. Let's see, let's have this be soft. And let's have this other layer, which is doing the same sound, but we double click and we set this actually at 0 so that there's no pitch bend on this, and you get a really, really cool detuning. Okay. And let's detune this a little bit. And then let's have some fun with the filter. We have this really cool thing called split, which does a really cool stereo imaging to the sound as it's panning it left and right. Let's have an LFO play with this. Go to LFO 3. Right? So we have just this nice stereo imaging happening. Let's have this, the pitch bend goes up. We want to have pitch bend to get the filter to be brighter. Let's see, pitch bend to volume. I think I had it. Where did I have the volume? So you can get really cool subtle variations. Let's see, pitch bend. You know, so it's really cool to have this much control. Another way to look at the parameters in Guru Sampler 2 is to use the little check boxes at the bottom of the interface. This is where I could save myself probably some headache by just going to pitch bend, which is right here, and it will pop up and show me what's going on, who has pitch bend assigned to it to do stuff. So you can get all sorts of really cool, subtle things with sounds going on now. So it's very nice. Hi, Tim. Welcome. Good thing you missed the first part. I had crazy audio problems and had to disappear for 15 minutes just to get everything to work. It's not my highlighted highs. Don't play this on my highlight reel, okay? Yeah, multi-channel should be polyphonic Aftertouch, yes. Oh, it's different messages. Ah, okay. See, Paul knows this stuff. I don't know this stuff. Will there be a routine to convert all the libraries from Guru Sampler? Well, the thing is, you have to be aware. We did set the filter to do some different things inside of Guru Sampler 2 compared to Guru Sampler 1. There's some patches that will be converted and sound identical. There's some that don't, because Guru Sampler 2 can play higher frequency content than the filter in Guru Sampler 1. We did some things also so that if you Here, let's go here and just say defaults. If you go here to the patch list, there's a default patch you can call up, right? This filter has a very different sound and character to it than the one in Groove Sampler 2. Down in here especially. Hear that? Let's do the same thing in Groove Sampler 1. So we say mute this, give me a new instrument, and let's set this to be Groove Sampler 1. Set to 24 dB filter, 24 dB. See, that resonance is nowhere nearly as sharp. It just didn't have the same kind of here and there. This one also down here, it doesn't cut down, so it stays. So this is really cool for low end things and stuff. Whereas the one in Groove Sampler 1 or 2, sorry. It does some filtering down here that doesn't happen in Groove Sampler 1. So you don't want to directly convert patches automatically for the entire library. I would never suggest doing that. I will tell you this, if you go to a patch, you can tell it to convert every patch from Groove Sampler 1 to Groove Sampler 2 when it loads the patch. Let me show you how to do that. So if you go BPM synth, let's go to something. Like, listen to the sound of this. If you right click on this and you say load patch, replace GS1 with GS2 for all layers, it tried to convert it, but it can't convert everything because there's different. That's normal. And here it is converted. It didn't convert this last one right. It's supposed to, this one's supposed to sound like this. So it didn't quite figure out what was going on there and get it quite right. So you can it's one of the things you have to test. It can't just be an automatic blanket change everything, because I worked very hard to get each one of these to be right where I want it to be, content-wise and so forth. When you do this conversion, it all goes out the window. And so do that only if you want to work with the parameters, and you're planning to play with it and you want to have access to the parameters and stuff like that. But it's not an A/B direct 100% conversion. Just trying to point out. So yes. You have to realize we're going from Groove Sampler where there is no modulation matrix. The only assignments you had were the mod wheel to be able to do things. That was it. So Paul has worked very hard to make a conversion table that will take these assignments and flip them into a completely different, built from the ground up new synthesizer that has, like if we go here to the mod wheel, you'll see he's got things going on here to try to compensate and do what it was doing, but it doesn't work in all cases because it's just, this is a far more complex synthesizer, and just doing a blanket mod wheel of this amount, it just doesn't work the same way. So yeah, I will never release a conversion of all, because it would take forever to get things back to where they were with Groove Sampler 1. That's why Groove Sampler 1 is in here. We didn't touch Groove Sampler 1. It plays and sounds identically to Groove Sampler 2. I'll show you a really interesting thing. If you want, let's say that you come across, well, no, you can't even load the patch, but just to show you how similarly connected these guys are, I could take this patch, and if this is calling up GU Sampler 1, let's see, let's call this up. Let's say that this is the patch somebody sent me in GU Sampler 2 format, and I wanted to play it in GU Sampler 1. I have both, right? Because if you have GU Sampler 1, you can't load GU Sampler 2 patches. But check this out. This is interesting. I've used this to save my bacon a couple times. You can go over here and you can copy the settings, go over to operations and copy plugin state. And you can actually go over here to Unify 1. And if I have this set to GU Sampler 1, I could, here's the settings right here, right? So if I go like this, if I come up here and I say operations paste, it will pick up the samples, the assignments, everything. As long as it's the same plugin, they're interconnected between Unify 1 and 2. We built on Unify 1 code that proves it right there. I can also take settings from Unify 1, and I could say copy this layer, and I could go over to Unify 2, and I could say paste this layer, and there it is. It will paste layers, complete layers from Unify 1 to Unify 2. So Unify 2 builds on the code of Unify 1 expertly and very carefully by Paul. I mean, it's an absolute landmine what he has navigated to get to what we have to work with this, because it kept everything we've developed for 5 years and gives us all this new potential to do all sorts of really cool new things. So, I mean, it's a brilliant job. I mean, I just applaud him big time. In fact, here, shout out time. Everybody give shout out to Paul. Shout out to Paul. I'll tell you this. He went away. He has a really nice cabin in the mountains of California. And 3 or 4 times in the last year, he has taken off for a little sabbatical just by himself, left his wife and his son at home, locks the doors. And he did that for the last 4 days to fix a handful of issues with Unify 2. So that dedication and that, I mean, you don't know how lucky we are to have Paul on our team. I mean, it's awesome. It's so great. So thank you, sir. So glad you were here with us. We would not be here without Paul. So hearty thanks. Let's see. Let's talk about a couple other things. Let me explain real quickly the macro knobs. That's another area that is a new area I have to make a video on. Let's do this. Let's call it like a pad that we want to turn into something rhythmic and have some fun with. So let's go over here, call up for pad. I'm going to look for something kind of simple. Now, Unify 2's 1 is playing. So it's here. Quit. I don't want that to be playing. I keep hearing water. So let's open this up. Let's make this brighter pads. Let's say, there, that's cool. And let's have it. So I'm going to convert this to GU Sampler 2. So I say convert to GU Sampler 2. Notice it sounds a little different. It's okay. So I want to have some I mean, the thing is, there are so many places to add motion now. If we want to turn this, I'll show you one real cool trick before we get into the macro knobs. I'm taking the attack to 0 and I'm moving the, see how it shows you the sample so you can see the waveform? I want to move into here somewhere. Let's do this. I have some pretty big effects going on with Chow Matrix. There, that's better. I'm gonna, let's see, shorten this. If you want something really snappy, because one thing I used to do all the time in Unify 1 was I'd use an LFO as a pitchy G. You can still do that. And there's other things you can do now that are really interesting. I mean, you could do them in Unify 1, but it seems to be even more impressive, I guess. So if I want, let's say I want to use LFO3, because now we have 3 LFOs. I'm going to bring up the intensity to 100%. I'm going to bring the rate to be pretty fast. I'm going to go over here to the shape and make it custom because I want it to be just a really snap, right? I'm going to set it to start with at unipolar because this is what we did in Unify 1. So by setting it to 1 shot, it no longer loops. It's now an envelope. Go over here to course, right click on this and go to LFO3. Okay, so now this is one of the reasons I asked Paul I wanted polyphonic notes because if you recall, here, let's do this. If I go, I can't go, once you make something, you can't take it back to Groove Sampler 1. That's the only thing that's, but let me make this really quick in Groove Sampler 1. Let's go add an instrument. Now what do I have to do from here? Oh, let's just go Groove Sampler 1. Let's just say Battleborn so I can make something similar with this. So we open up Groove Sampler 1. We have to move the sample start. We don't see the waveform, but we go sample start. So same thing. You'd say really, really fast, custom shape, 1 shot, and you had to have this to be uni. And the shape of this needs to be like this. Right? The thing with, let's see, let's make this a little bit darker. So the thing with Groove Sampler 1 is that when you played, you get that pitchy G on the first note. Any notes after that, there's no pitchy G because it's only able to process the sound for 1 voice. So I get that really cool snap on the first voice. And then any notes after that are not snappy. So the whole goal with what started out as just, I just want it to be a polyphonic button inside of Groove Sampler. That's all I wanted. And Paul's like, I think we should make a new synth. I was like, really? Really? Why? I just want that button. Just do it. He's like, no, it's going to be able to do more. Trust me. So I was like, okay. So inside of Groove Sampler 2, because it's polyphonic, let's do this. Let's go to the same sound. So that's Mega Magic Pads. Mega Magic Pads is right here. And we can say Pastoral Warmth. Snappy. I can play 1 note with snap. Every note has snap now. So that's one of the really cool things with Groove Sampler 2. On top of everything else, all the assignments and stuff, is it's per voice. That means this LFO, it's calculating these LFOs every note you play to have whatever is a set. So I can hold down notes, I can play new notes, it's still snappy. That's something you can't do in Groove Sampler 1. You go to Groove Sampler 1 and you play that, the snap's gone. And it's not as snappy to start with. And I figured out how to make this even snappier. So check this out. If you want, instead of setting unipolar, make it bipolar. So this means it's going top of the range to the bottom of the range. That sounds wrong. Well, check this out. Transpose it up 24 semitones. Let's see, actually, we want to go there. Now we've added 2 more octaves of pitchy G snap. Hear that snap? Beautiful, man. And if you want, you can actually double click and get this to be even tighter snaps. And it's still per voice. So that's one of the coolest things with Groove Sampler 2, is that everything that you're doing, that's how we can do the poly. Aftertouch, that's how we can do everything else. I could have this, make this a brighter sound. So let's go back to Battleborn. And let's turn this down and just make it really dark. So I'm now using that pitch EG, and let's go over here and use exponential so it's even snappier. Bring up the sustain a little bit. And then right click on this and you can say Aftertouch. So on my normal keyboard, I have an 88 note keyboard here that has no Aftertouch. So I come over here to this guy, and it's got polyphonic aftertouch, and I can make really cool pads now. It's got a little bit of snap. And let's go over here to the aftertouch lag and slow that down. It's per voice. I could play like octaves with my keyboard here. And then I could play over here. And it's only adding filtering to the new note with aftertouch I'm playing. And on top of that, check this out. If you right click on the attack, you could set velocity to be bringing it into the negative so that you can go from soft and slow all the way to fast. And let's also have right click on the release and have it so when I play faster, it'll shorten it so I can go from pads to fast synth parts from the same patch with velocity. So that so we can go from slow to fast with velocity. It's a whole new world. There's so much potential to play with here. I'm using a ASM Hydrasynth Explorer. They're not that expensive. It's got little mini keys, so it's not the full-size keys that you have from a normal synth. It's very heavy duty. It's also battery operatable, so you can take it with you. It's not light, so it's not like something to take on the backpack on the airplane unless you are wanting to carry a lot of weight. But it has a very nice responsive keyboard. It works very nice with Unify too. I'm really happy. So the changes you can do here are pretty exciting. So yes, a universe of new capabilities is here. So between this and this list of sample libraries just expanding like crazy, you have all these samples from 27 Unify libraries. So you can go to Ambient Dreams. There's all these really cool like I don't have this patch. I mean, this patch is set up for a really big, bright sound, so it's not going to sound the same. We go to piano grains. This is where the gain is nice. Now there's presets up here you can call from. Like say I needed to be playing more like a pad. So I could go slow pad, purity. This is one of my favorite new pads that I made for the library called Purity. But you can change this to other sounds inside of the library. I even gave you the birds and the water and the wind. So if you want wind, you can. Like if you just do this, do that. Go over here and say Guru Sampler 2 and change this call back up purity again on the second layer. Now let's say I wanted to add something outside of Guru Sampler 2. I want to add, like, let's say Noise Box, because Noise Box can do a ton of cool things, both dramatic and drastic and subtle. So let's go over here. Let's say I want to use Power Curve. Oh, I'm way over time, ain't I? Let me show you this and then we'll go, okay? I started late and I had my technical difficulties, so. There we go, that's what I'm looking for. And let's put a low pass filter on the output. Maybe I want something just to be playing with this. Letting low frequency in for a minute or two, and then going away. Well, this is an effect outside of Guru Sampler 2, so I can't use an LFO here. This is why we put motion into the knobs. So if I go to the knobs, none of these are set up per se. So if I just go over here, open up Noise Box, and I hit the little ear on a knob that's just initialized and blank, right? Open this up again. Move this. It's now been added. So it's moving. And all I have to do is hit run. In this case, I want the depth to be less, and I want it to be slower. Now it's going in and out. And then, of course, after this, you want to put a delay that's going to like amplify that really cool subtle transition. So you go omega delay, give it to be like, see, Paul, check this out. I can drag on a knob and it doesn't show me the timing values. There's something with our knobs. We're going to fix it, but I have this happen all the time where I can click on a parameter and instead of showing the timing values, it changes, but it's changing the times underneath it. But it doesn't just show me the updates all the time. So we've got to fix that. Eighth doubles. Bring up the feedback even more. Let's add a little chorusing. Hear how it now lingers and kind of fades out a little bit? I'll give you guys a patch for let's say I want this is the water. I want to have just a little bit of a hint of timing rhythm. So let's go over here. We have this set up to be, let's say, eighth notes or quarter notes. Maybe we'll use a knob to cycle between eighth notes and quarter notes. So let's go like this. And I wanted to do this mainly to the volume. So I'm going to right click this. I'm going to bring this down. And then we'll go over here to LFO3. And I'm going to use LFO2. And I'm going to set it to be notes. And I'm going to say like maybe 1 measure so it does a little bit of a motion thing. And then I'm going to have this also change there like that, but I want it to be slower. So say okay, isn't that cool? But I want the timing of this LFO. So let's use LFO1 to change the timing of LFO3, which we can do. So let's say, let's just say random, just for fun. Let's see what this does. We'll say set this to notes, quarter notes, so it changes it some every now and then over time. So you just go to LFO3 to the rate. Oh, we can't change it here. Okay. Well, that's another case where the knobs come in really handy, because we could go over here to the knobs. Let's see, let's go like hit the ear. Oh, I grab that, so I gotta remember to eyes. Guys, stop automation before you use the ear, because otherwise it will grab the automation that's going on. So hit the ear. So it's blinking, and my screen, okay. And then I'm gonna go over here to LFO3 to the rate, and it grabbed it. And let's say, let's go, we want it to be synced, run. And I want the range to be in here somewhere. And then you can kind of like gauge what your range is. Now you can get that to where you have some variations in timing. And I want to emphasize that by using EQ real fast. So go flex EQ. Now, if you do something like this, you want something else to be a steadier time so you can kind of tell where one is. So let's do this. Let's use the metronome for fun. Let's slow this down to be a little bit different tempo-wise. Maybe 80. Now let's go U2 and choose one of these new grooves that I made. Like Chili Streets, maybe. Now, since this metronome is a whole different creature to everything going on in my patch, I can do really radical things here. I could go over here, I could put, one example would be put filter max, put a filter on it. Right? You could also do other things. I could put infiltrator. The list of things is endless. Replicant is really cool. Let's see, replicant from audio damage is fun for. Just giving me kind of the weird breakup. And let's take this. Maybe I want this to be a sound instead of noise, because the noise is just kind of there, kind of not. So let's go over here. Let's see what happens if we use Purity. Let's go to another library really quick. Let's go to let's go to Dream State. This is a really fun library with some really, really cool like, oh, let's see, wait, go back to Dream State. Why won't you go to Dream State? I want to go to Dream State. Oh, well, for some reason it's not wanting me to change. So okay, we'll play with this, but I'm gonna put Flex EQ. Oh, I'm playing with the fine tune. So let's see what's going on here. Yeah, okay, so turn that off. Oh, you know what? I can't use Replicant because I'm going to give this to you guys. If you have Replicant, you can use it. It does some really cool things to the groove. We can just use Pump House to do some fun stuff. So say Pump House. Let's go over here to loading the presets. Let's look at the window, right click, little curve. There we go. I like this better as noise. So I'll give you this if you guys want this? Yeah, if you're having technical problems, please write to us. We're here to help. There's something Unify doesn't know where your library is exactly. So it's just loading up the sine wave because it's not told something else. We can step you through the process of, you need to do this. You need to go to your settings, data path, and look here to see where it says the main data folder is. Open it. You should see something like this that has libraries, which has not 36 gigabytes, but it has 9 gigabytes of data. It should by default. And then you add libraries to it. It will add more depending on what libraries you have. It doesn't know where this is what's happening. So we can help step you through the process. Taylor is great at figuring and solving all that out. Okay, I want to fix this just a little more. Let's put a delay on this. Delay. Maybe a little distortion. You know, I'm gonna put this to be a. Let's do this. I'm gonna make this more like a moody. Add some auxiliary effects. Right click here, say auxiliary synth. You can change this to water verb, for example, just to give us looks nice. Oh, you know what it is? Pump House at full effects is too much. And then I want to add one more thing. I need a little art pattern to play along with this. So let's go to the Super Mega Sampler to the B. Not those guys. Go up here to BPM Pulse. Maybe try this. No, not the right one. So let's go over here, BPM Pad. Let's take this up an octave, right here, transposing up plus 12. That's cool. Let's find the sound. This sound here, let's have it fade in a little bit more. There. Now we get that back into the mix. Let's do this. I want to get just a little bit of subtle rhythm from the pad up here. So let's invert this to be a pulse. Well, it's a work in progress. I would typically need to spend more, but I'll give it to you at this point. We're over by 38 minutes. My goodness. So let's save this into, I'm going to set up the LiveSCREAM. One second here. Let's go over here. Unify live. I'm going to go one folder up. Remember our LiveStreams library that we're building that has all sorts of stuff. Let's put it in there. So we go libraries, free, I believe is where it is. There it is. Go here to libraries, hit cancel. I'm going to option rebuild the database really quick. It'll take just a second. So I can play with this just a little bit more. Let's do this. Let's say, oh, I see. That's automatically set to 1. That's why it takes off. Okay. So let's set this to be sample and hold, and we're going to put it on the volume. So we go like this, and we say 1. And set it to be notes. What happened? See, am I doing what I want to do? Yep. There. And check this out. We had this utility envelope, and I've had people say, what do I use it for? Here, let's use it. So let's have it be a slow envelope where it starts strong, and then I want this to come down to like where you almost don't notice it, but it's strong at the beginning. So right click, go utility envelope, bring that up, so that way it's really... open up this layer here and bring down the 5th just a little bit so I can bring the whole thing up just a little bit more. All right, isn't that a great Halloween sound? One of these days, when I'm working on a library, I'll just live stream all day, so you can just hang out with me if you want. And we'll just make patches together, and you can kind of, I do that all the time, and I don't mind sharing, so that'd be fun. So if we go over here to the LiveSCREAM bonus, that's where we're going to save this. So we go save. This is a BPM pad, November reflections. How about that? And we'll go LS because it was, well, they're all made in the LiveStream. So we'll go like that. This is a BPM pad. BPM pad. Let's see, it's pure, pulsing. That's cool. And you'll hear the pulsing of that pad's going to go down because we have the auxiliary envelope bringing down the intensity of that. Right, HY. Fun drum groove in there too. Turn it on. So we'll go save as, and we, oh wait, we want to go cancel because I forgot to change the library. So we want to save it to the LiveStream bonus library, and it saved all the notes and stuff, thank goodness. So we go save as, save. You know, I should do though, let's do this. Let's update the tags a little bit. Pulsing, PULS. U2, and we should probably put U2 in the end of the name so we know that it's a patch for Unify 2. Update. So it's been updated. And now, and Paul, see, it changed his libraries. So we can go LiveStream bonus. Here it is. This is next to the other patches. Remember, we did the tambourine and. So I'll upload this. I'll send out a news because this can take a minute to get it. I don't want to waste any more of your time. You guys have been here for a long time. So. But I'll put this whole library in. I'm going to send an email out tonight, and I'll provide a link to download this patch along with this whole library. This also has, I believe, the firecracker drums are in here. When this 4th of July, recorded the fireworks in my neighborhood. So I'll give you the whole thing in a link in the email I send out. So that means you need to make sure you're subscribed to the newsletter. One more time, let me go over here and hit plus and Plugin Guru. At the bottom of the Plugin Guru. Now, if you've subscribed in the past and unsubscribed, you'll need to write to us directly. We have to reissue a confirmation to you from MailChimp. But down here, you can sign up for the newsletter. And that way you can get the link. I'll provide it in the newsletter. Don't forget, we have the introductory price for Unify 2. There's 16 libraries, both for Unify and for Omnisphere 3. In fact, I'm going to point out really quickly, Omniverse is the first library, the first third-party library ever made for Omnisphere. You can get it for $10 right now. It's on its introductory price. Also, Airway's first library, which is a must-own by everybody in my opinion, is also $10 on the current deal and free stuff page. it's only there for 2 days and then it's gone. But if we were like init, check this out, Omnisphere. Let me show you real quickly. These patches, they all work. It's 100% compatible with Omnisphere 3. You just go to directories, to the user libraries, and Omniverse right here. And then you have to go to all categories, and then you can play. And there's so many cool patches in here. Tons of BPM. This was made in 2012 when Omnisphere version 1 came out. Everything's only using the A and B oscillators because that's all there was at the time for Omnisphere. It was Omnisphere 2 that they went to 4 oscillators. Those of you who don't know, I have supported Omnisphere for a long time. There's over like 40 libraries here that I have made for Omnisphere at my website you can buy. The other library I was telling you about that you have to check out is Airwave Volume 1. This is such a great patch library just for the mod wheel. All these patches are so cool. There's cool chords. Transpulsor, transdicers. Really, really cool. The whole library. There's tons of drums, including kicks and stuff. If you go to the multi-mode, I think I have it set. You click here and switch to multi. User directories, Airwave Volume 1. There's all these things like from Brussels and stuff like that, where it's just, let's see, where's one of these? Oh, Belleville 3. Here we go for a. There's bro steps. So, tons of stuff. It's a must-own library, I think, by everybody that owns Omnisphere. There's just you study those patches, and that's like a master school in programming. It's really, really cool. All right, so scan field. Ain't no stopping. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's cut it right there. Shout out to everybody. Thank you for all of you hanging out. I'm so sorry again for the technical difficulties at the start of the stream. It wasn't, I'll have to figure out what's going on and try to lock it down so it doesn't do that again. Shout out from Eagle, Idaho, Amsterdam. Yes, New York City. Good to see you, Nuts. Hey, welcome, man. Yeah, shout out from Norway. Ivar, good to see you as always. Barry, Oliver in Ottawa. Good to see you, man. Awesome. Well, I appreciate all of you. Thank you for your support. It's always a joy to get to hang out with you guys. Okay, great, Mark. Yeah. Make sure you watch the installation video. It shows you options and choices for installing. I have Unify 1 and 2 both accessing the same data folder. I can open up Unify 1 and it shows me the exact same directories here that Unify 2 shows me. I can go to all the libraries. I can go to the same libraries. I can go to Titan 303. Patches work here. I can go over here to Titan 303. Patches work here. If you save new libraries, just save them to a place that you can kind of keep track of what are Unify 2 patches, because Unify 1 doesn't know what to do with them. Like if I go over to Unify 2 and I go to the standard library, and if I say U2, I have all these Unify 2 patches that when I click, it goes, I can't do anything with that. So just say okay and go from there. Just don't load those. Go back to the everything else. Everything else loads and works just fine. All right. Where do you get the Omnisphere libraries? From my website, pluginguru.com. We sell libraries for Omnisphere 3. And like I pointed out, we have a sale because Omnisphere 3 is new. I'm celebrating with Halloween. You guys deserve your own treat. So if you go to pluginguru.com, there's a couple ways to find the libraries. Number one, you can click the links right here. If you say Omnisphere, it will list lots of Omnisphere libraries. These are all libraries for Omnisphere that we've created. If you also go up to the current deals and free stuff, this is where free libraries for Unify exist. Make sure you use I have to study this because it shouldn't be doing this. That's a weird bug. But the Omnisphere libraries are in here in the mix. So you would go down the list and I can point out, this is Colors. This is like a killer library for Omnisphere and Keyscape. You have to own both for this to work. Far better playable patches to the pianos in Keyscape than what come with it, in my opinion. Just for the acoustic pianos, because there's so much compression, it's not as expressive. But OMG drums, if it says for Omnisphere, these are libraries that are for Omnisphere. Omniverse is the beginning. If you see O2, that means it's a library for Omnisphere 2. Toxic Omnisphere, Omnipulse, Toxic Zebra, that's a library for Zebra. So some libraries are for other plugins as well, but Toxic Omnisphere is here. So yeah, lots of libraries. These are the ones that are on sale at 50% off. The rest of the libraries that you find on the home page for Omnisphere are not 50% off. Just a select group of libraries are available at 50% off right now, okay? All right, thank you all. Again, that was a really interesting beginning to the live stream. I don't want to repeat it, but thanks for sticking with me and hanging out. And we'll see you next week. Stay in touch. Again, tonight I will send out a newsletter because there's one more day of this Halloween treat sale going on, so I'll let everybody know. And there will be a link there to download the updated LiveStream library with the new patch that we made, which is right here. Go to LiveStream bonus, right here. November Reflections. Call that up and that's really cool. Really like it. And that's playing with our new abilities. In fact, I don't even have this. Turn it back on. All right, so this will be available to you guys tonight. All right, see you all later. Have a happy, healthy, good November, and we'll see you next week for another live stream because we do this every weekend on Saturday. See you later. Bye.